called Out of the Box. And it's actually written. I preface it's my godmother, it's my pastor until she passed year before last, and she was a poet. She wrote a poem Out of the Box, and it was about her. She was a pastor, but she was like pushed out of the church. She was a female that started her own church, and the church that she came from really didn't think a female should be running the church, number one. They didn't think that she had been in the church long enough to be running the church, running her own church or whatever the case may be, so they didn't support her. When she left, she kind of broke off and started to do her own thing, and no one supported her at all. So she kind of just built her church from the ground up, and she ran the church for 15 years until she passed, and the church has flourished until this day. But her ministry, she was very demonstrative in her ministry. At one point, she built a casket for her sermon. Her sermon was, and I wasn't even there. I used to be a truck driver, so I was out on the road a lot, so I was in and out, so I would miss Sundays here and there. So I helped her build the casket, but I actually missed the sermon that she preached. She put the casket up front and she preached that this is everyone's goal. This is where we're all headed, and are you ready? And she actually had people come up late in the casket just to get your mind state to this is where you're going, this is where you're headed. Are you ready for this? And people actually got up and laid in the casket, and it was just, they said it was crazy. She said one of the guys actually scared us, a big dude, my brother Rob, he's a big dude. And she said he got in, he laid down, he crossed his arms, and she said to her, it looked like he had to stop breathing and everything, because he just laid there and just like he just got comfortable, and he just closed his eyes, and she was preaching, and at some point she just had to stop and look at him. Rob, you still there? Like,
yeah, that's
but
scary.
But the service, I mean, her services caught your attention. I mean, one of the things that for me personally, when I first met her, there was my first church that I had ever joined. I kind of was into the Bible a little bit when I was younger. I mean, I just read on my own. But if you had never picked up the Bible, if you never really didn't know much about the church, you could still understand what she was preaching, the way she relayed the message. She related it to regular everyday stuff. And she kept up with her daughter, so she was kind of in with the younger generation, so she knew the music and she knew the slang, and I mean, she was just an awesome person. But she did a poem Out of the Box, just describing pretty much she has this out of the box praise, and it was just, the poem was ridiculous. Everywhere she went, she would do it. I mean, the young people would be on their feet, and people would request her to do it Out of the Box. And I always wanted to kind of collaborate with her and do something, and in the time we would sit together, and she had her own little studio, and she put her own little tracks to her poems and stuff, and I could never do it. But after she passed, it's crazy that after she passed, then I came up with my version of Out of the Box. So.